I want us to take a second here to talk about something that is sweeping the country, and that is the very real condition that is bowl syndrome. And I want to hone in on two specific stud true freshman quarterbacks that I think are going to have great careers at their respective schools. Nico Iamaleava, the number one player for us here at On3, and will be the starting quarterback at Tennessee next year, who played really well against Iowa yesterday, and Jackson Arnold, who maybe didn't play as well against Arizona in their game, but still I think has a really bright future. Make sure you're subscribed. Talking ball every single day. Want y'all a part of this. Make sure you're dialed in. Thank you in advance for that. What I want us to make sure we say here is that this is one data point for both these cats. And the thing with bowl syndrome is we have one data point, and then we have, however many months before we get to see them play again. We get a spring game in between there, but until we see them play in real action, there's a long time. So what happens is we take this one data point, and it's all that we get to look at, and we decide that we think we're pretty smart, and we want to unpack this and pick it apart and say, okay, this is who this cat is. This is who he's going to be in the future. Like you had a lot of folks outside of Oklahoma circles, I think, say, hey, Jackson Arnold's not the answer in Oklahoma. Hey, Jackson Arnold, I don't know if he's going to be the guy for you. He probably shouldn't, should have tried to make a way for Dylan Gabriel to stay. That was what some people were saying across the college football landscape. Y'all, that's irresponsible. Why? Because it was Jackson Arnold's very first game. Very first time playing college football. We said it in our reaction video to that game and to his performance. There were some things there that I think confirmed that he's the guy for you. One of which being the deep shot that was a 60-yard bomb to Thompson. You had the rolling left, which is not easy for a right-handed quarterback to do, and finding your quarterback, your receiver, Nick Anderson, back pylon. That's a tough off-balance throw to make. It takes a strong arm to make that throw. You saw the tools there to get you excited. But at the same time, you saw a lot of turnovers. To me, those were learning experiences. Those are things that are going to get coached up, that we can work with. There was no mistakes there for Jackson Arnold that make me think, okay, he's not the guy. And even if there were, I would say, well, let's see that in a larger sample size before we define who he's going to be. Now, same thing with Nico yesterday. He played great. Numbers weren't gaudy. Throwing the football was 12 for 19. Had a few drops. Threw a touchdown, 151 yards through the air, 0 interceptions. Still, though, you saw the freshman mistakes. Took a sack during 2-minute drill. Can't do that. We'll learn from that. It's a bowl game. Had 3 rushing touchdowns, though. And not like Philly, tush-push kind of touchdowns, not a little brotherly shove kind of touchdowns where it's a quarterback sneak for 1 yard. It was like quarterback design run, get Nico on the edge, let him be special, the number one player according to Charles Power, and Charles Power don't miss y'all. I'm just going to make sure we are on the same page there. You saw the special against a defense that allowed 13 points a game in 2023. So a good defense now, a great filter to run it through. It wasn't like he was out there playing against Yale. But even with that being said, you had the great from Nico, you had the not so great from Jackson Arnold. We still don't know who these cats are going to be. And so I would just say, let's be weary of the good people that mean well. I promise you, they mean well. They love college football just like us. But they're going to try and build an entire forecast for Oklahoma and Tennessee based on the bowl games of Nico Iamaleava. I promise you, we're dialed in, but we're going to make sure we keep calibrating that pronunciation. Nico Iamaleava and Jackson Arnold. We don't know what they're going to be yet. We've seen the talent. We've seen the flash in the bowl game from both these individuals. But as far as what they're going to be as college quarterbacks, their story still has many, many pages. They just wrote the first one. They just wrote the first couple of pages in their bowl games. So it's fun to see. It's exciting to see. You get a peek at the future of both those teams. But let's be slow to define either side of that thing. So bowl syndrome, as fun as it can be to drink the Kool-Aid, let's sort of say, no, we're good for right now. We'll kind of see how this thing goes. And then when the time comes for us to drink the Kool-Aid and for us to get diagnosed with regular season syndrome, then we can go from there. But overall, I wanted to make sure we kind of got aligned there on bowl syndrome because I think it's important. I think it's very prevalent this time of year, so I wanted to make sure we're all aligned on that. Prize Picks is a great partner for us, and we give out our plays for Prize Picks on my Twitter page. And we gave out a winner yesterday. It was, I think, a few hours before kick because those squares are constantly changing right up until kick. So one, redeem code JD, 100% deposit match up to $100. Want y'all a part of this. If you lose, say a little. When you win, say nothing. So we would say nothing if we weren't obligated contractually to say something with Prize Picks, and we want to let y'all know about Prize Picks, so there's that. But I'm just saying, we got to kind of walk through what happened yesterday and give you a good gauge for ultimately what happened on the Prize Picks side of things. So we had a flex play dialed up, little 5 square special. To unpack what a flex play is, essentially it just means you don't have to get every single square right to get something back on your investment. If you get 4 out of 5 right, it's 2 extra entry. If you got 3 out of 5 right, you get a little less than half your entry. It's a good deal. So what we had dialed up here, if you followed on Twitter, we had Jalen Milroe, 34.5 rush yards, wanted the more, got the more, even with 6 sacks. So hat tip to Jalen Milroe for getting that for us. J.J. McCarthy, 15.5 rush yards. We thought his legs would be a factor in this game. They indeed were. He picked it up for us on the very last drive. He had 25 rush yards. Shout out J.J. McCarthy, the more hit there. Now, Blake Corum, we had him for less than 4.5 receiving yards. Blake, my bad, dog. I didn't know they were going to throw you the ball like that. But he made some big catches, one for a touchdown. So we were very, very off on that. He had 35 receiving yards. The less did not, in fact, hit. But regardless, we still got something back here. Because C.J. Baxter, we had him for 16.5 receiving yards with a more, 31 yards for C.J. Baxter. The more, in fact, did hit. And then Rome Odunze made us sweat a little bit here at the very end. But he had a total there of 103.5 receiving yards for his square. He hit the more for 125. We, in fact, had the more. So 4 out of 5 squares hit. It was a good time. It was a good time, and we appreciate Prize Picks for sticking with us all season long. And for a lot of y'all that have supported the show by signing up with Prize Picks, that's huge. That is huge, and that is a testament to y'all for moving this whole thing forward and being a part of that with Prize Picks. So again, redeem code JD. No periods, just J and D, those 2 letters, for a 100% deposit match up to $100 when you sign up. We will have a play for you for the national championship game. So follow me on Twitter. We will have that play tweeted out for you. Also, we'll have it here on this very show for you too, so you can catch that as well. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.